I would like to turn the mic over to Joemer Ta-ala.
Thank you, Felicia, and thanks everyone. Thank you for inviting me again this year to the career fair. Welcome and greetings from the cool breezes of Monterey. The last time I checked, it was only 59 degrees out here. So I'm going to cover only a few items, and I'm sure the one that really interests our audience would be on how to participate in the language programs that we have at DLIFLC, at the Defense Language Institute. So I'm not going to bore you with some data that I included on the slides, but just they're there to give you a background on what commonly or less commonly taught languages means to DLI in the DLI context. So next slide, please. Thank you. So we call less commonly taught languages at DLI low density languages. And I'm drawing my data actually from my old job when I was working at in DC at DLI Washington. So what this means is that it's the requirement for certain languages does not come often, and also that the students that we get are less than 5 or even less than 3 students only, 3 years at a time. So for the past decade, 7 of those languages had only 1 or 2 students, and I have actually witnessed 2 of these languages being taught in one of our contract schools at Washington, D.C., Tausug and Mai, or Mai, which is a dialect of Somali. So those of you who are interested in joining, perhaps teaching some of these languages that are less commonly taught at DLI Washington, all you need to do is contact me or contact Felicia. She has my contact information. Next slide, please. Now, I'm going to talk to you, those of you who are speakers of some of these languages that I have mentioned, or less commonly taught languages that we offer at DLI Washington, and would want to participate in the faculty arena, would be interested to know that you will face certain challenges, and one of which is the availability of standardized tests. As you may know, DLI Washington, or DLI in general, we use the DLPTs, and we use the DLPTs to test proficiency. There is no standardized tests for these older generation of DLPTs even. So sometimes we use FSI testing if they have it. There's one challenge also is lack of commercial materials, lack of curriculum, lack of ongoing work dedicated to the instruction, the delivery of instruction of these low density languages. So what that means to those of us in the audience who are interested in inquiring more about how to participate in the DLI program is that you brace yourself with that challenge and brace yourselves with a requirement, and as you move along, that you will be required to build your own materials. Lack of student peer support is also a challenge because, as I said, these are few and far between that we get students. So there will be no peer support available to your students if you do decide to join us. Next slide, please. So in order to ameliorate the situation, the current efforts that we're doing to mitigate the lack of curriculum, lack of student support, and all the other challenges that we face in our delivery of less commonly taught languages at DLI is we require contractors. And from that statement, you kind of guess where I'm going with regard to joining the teaching force. Compensation plans will require contract schools to provide compensation plans. What that means is the qualifications of the instructors are important. They need to provide how to construct, to develop the curriculum. They also need to provide a sample of lesson plans for all of these less commonly taught languages. We do actively participate in academic advising. So we work closely with the contract schools, with their program managers there, and most especially with the instructors assigned to teach these less commonly taught languages. We support the students in terms, most of the academic advisors, especially at DLI Washington, are linguistics experts. They studied second language acquisition, so they are equipped to actually provide support to students in terms of foreign language education, foreign language learning, and support the faculty as well with materials and academic support with regard to foreign language teaching. Next slide, please. So still in line with the current efforts that we're doing, we have 3 lines of effort for a strategic plan for the next 4 years. We want to make sure that the students are prepared. So we conduct Introduction to Language Studies, which is a TRADOC mandated course for all incoming DLI students. We train and ready faculty and make the faculty ready to teach the language. Technically, we are not, since we, most of these languages, the less commonly taught languages are contracted out over in DLI Washington. We cannot really technically train teachers. So what we do is we provide orientation to the program managers at the school, at the contract schools, and they're the ones who actually provide training and make sure that their faculty members are ready to teach the class. Next slide, please. Now, this is the part that we are probably most interested in, how you may participate. For students, don't think that we only accept service member students. DLI actually accepts civilian students as well. As a matter of fact, just a month ago, our colleagues from Delencio and Jeff Carey from IIE, the Boren Scholars, we just had Boren Scholars study Chinese at DLI. So this was part of their program at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies. They participated in the Chinese program, the Chinese department here in DLI Monterey, developed a Chinese flagship program, Mandarin Chinese program, and their students were exclusively Boren Scholars. So if you're interested, again, those of you who are interested in studying an intensive language course at DLI, all you need to do is get in touch with me and we'll get you started. Instructors, as I have alluded to, you may go to usajobs.gov and just type in the search box. There should be a title there, box for title, or for a position that you would like, that you are interested in. Of course, teaching language, sometimes you can find interesting things that the government, that the federal government actually is looking for. So not just instructors, but you may be hired as an interpreter or translator. The less commonly taught languages or low density languages at DLI are all contracted out at DLI Washington. So again, those of you who speak, who speak the 7 languages I included on one of my slides, if you're interested or just interested to join to teach government or service members or government employees foreign languages, and the languages that you speak, that you are able to teach is one of our languages that we teach at DLI Washington, let me know. And all you need to do is I'd give you the contact information of the contract schools that we have in Washington, D.C. And that ends my presentation. Thank you very much.